So we're giving the example of the fellow with the chain. He ran 4 miles and then coming back and discovered the chain was with them. So the question was 4 miles of running necessary? It is necessary in the sense, otherwise he is agitated, and he only when going there he discovered that the chain was not missing. So the question is, if you say it is necessary, we can say it's not necessary. If we say it's not necessary, we say it's necessary. The correct answer is 4 miles of running is necessary to discover that 4 miles of running is not necessary. So it means all sadhanas are required until the mind prepares itself to recognize that I am all the time Nitya Mukta Swarupoham. I am that which is all the time pure, never impure itself. No vasanas do not belong to me itself, because I was Akartaham Abhoktaham. I am never a doer for me to get vasanas also. Vasanas are part of the Prakriti only. So that becomes a bhushanam now. So I can indulge myself with the vasanas for a play without getting affected by it. That's what is Krishna or all the lords are with the pannagas. Pannagas stand for vasanas. The snake stands for vasanas in all religions. And the snake is become a bhushanam only for a realized soul. And here we give you 3 examples. So few examples here. It says Jaladi Samparka Vashat Prabhuta, Jaladi Samparka Vashat Prabhuta, Durgastha Bhuta, Durgastha Dhuta, Durgastha Dhuta, Agaru Divya Vasana, Durgastha Dhuta, Agaru Divya Vasana, or Durgastha Dhuta, Agaru Divya Vasana, Sangarshane Naiva Vibhuti Samyaku, Sangarshane Naiva Vibhuti Samyaku, Vidhuyamane Sati Bhahyavande, Vidhuyamane Sati Bhahyagandhe. So Jaladi Samparka Vashat Prabhuta Durgastha Dhuta. So Durgastha Dhuta, this because of this agar is a beautiful smelling agarbatti. That is agar, we call it agarbatti, but agar is the beautiful smelling, but it was lying in the water, and because of the lying with her there is a fungus that formed, and because of the fungus Jaladi Samparka, because of the contact with the water and Vashat Prabhuta Durgastha, it's not smelling, and therefore the agar is smelling, but it's not a natural smell. It's not the smell of the natural. It's a superimposition on top of the agar because of the fungus formation. And what has to do? This the Divya Vasana of the agar, there was not felt, and what you are getting is Durga Vasana, is only bad smelling. And what need to do? Sangarshane Naiva Vibhuti Samyak. By Sangarshana, by rubbing out, you remove the fungus out, and when you remove everything out, what is left behind is pure agar, which it's a beautiful smell. Vidhuyamane Sati Bhahyagandhe. So the vasana, natural vasana of the agar comes out when you remove the superimposed vasana. If the superimposed vasanas are natural, then you cannot remove it because it's natural. The fact that vasanas are not natural is experienced in the deep sleep state, where all my identifications with the I am this, all my biodata and all that. I am a chemistry professor, and other fellow doesn't have ignorant of chemistry. I am this knowledge and I am this millions of dollars. I am owner. Other fellow is a poor man. All the classifications, codifications, separations, distinctions, and all the Sajata Vijata Swagata Vedas, all are gone when I go to a deep sleep state. When I am in the Sushupti, deep sleep state, the subject-object relationships are all folded, and therefore there is none of the identification of the jiva, which means that they do not belong to me. I can give up everything because they do not belong to me. If they belong to me, I can never give up also in the deep sleep state. The fact that I could give up, everybody could sleep, whether it is a king or a pauper. King doesn't have a kingdom in the deep sleep state. Pauper doesn't have pauperness in the deep sleep state. And both sleep is essentially nidra vokkate. There is a Annamaya Kirtana says whether it's a pauper or a king, the sleep is the same, because in that sleep there is no pauper, no king also. And therefore in that state, which says the experience of the deep sleep state proves that nothing really of this belongs. What belongs is only even in the disbelief there is something there. That seems to be the ajnanam, because in the disbelief state, I don't know. This absence of the knowledge of the duality is there, and therefore there is an ignorance of it. So the ignorance has to be ajnana vritti, akanda akara ajnana vritti is there in the disbelief state, and I had to remove that by the knowledge, that is by the Vedantic knowledge. So if Vedanta knowledge removes the ajnanam, what happens to a realized soul? Even in the waking state, when he sees the duality due to the Isvara Srishti, which he has not created, so Isvara Srishti will still remain, but he understood it's only Mithya. That's why Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. There is no reality for the plurality. Plurality is apparent only, but not really real. It becomes a vibhuti. It becomes my glory. Says, look at my vibhuti, O Arjuna. Says, they're all on me, but they are not really in me, because they are only apparently in me, but not really in me. And that's what Krishna's statement is. That becomes a vibhuti of your own self, because there is only Atma and Atma. So Jaradi Samparka Vashat Prabhutaha. So Vedanta is crystal clear here that you have to do effort to decondition oneself. Deconditioning is a process. If there are too thick deconditioning, then I have to do Karma Yoga and Upasana Yoga to remove most of it. But enough for me to listen to the Vedanta, and then lingering vasanas can be removed by Vedanta, by contemplation on the Atma and withdrawing my mind from the three vasanas. Lokatraya vasanas, the Loka vasana, Shastra vasana, Deha vasana has to be withdrawn. Antasrita nastadurasta vasana, dhuli vilipta paramatma vasana, pragnati sangarshanato vishuddha pratiyate chandana gandhavat sputa. So another example is given here. Antashrita nasta durasta vasana, dhuli vilipta paramatma vasana, dhuli vilipta paramatma vasana, pragnati sangarshanato vishuddha paliyati chandana gandhavat sputa. So chandana gandham, that is for the sandalwood. Smell of the sandalwood comes only when you take the sandalwood and put water and keep rubbing it, then you start getting the smell of the chandanam. So rubbing is required against all the process there, and here antasritasnasta durastvasana. So the fragrance of the sandalwood is hidden because of the superimposed the dust or the dirt, durastavasana, or the fungus or whatever, due to the contact with the world. So in the previous also, agarbatti made a contact with the world, jalam. So jaladi samparka vasat. So samparkam is become a problem. Sankalpa means contact with the world, physical contact and the mental contact. So physically I can withdraw. That is first thing important. And mentally also I have to withdraw. That is shama and dama. Physical withdrawal is unnecessarily not getting involved in unnecessary activities is called dhamma, and getting involved in the mind also withdraw from that is the shama. Mind cannot but withdraw unless mind is invested in somewhere else, and that's what is being the paramatma. So dhuli vilipta paramatma vasana. So paramatma vasana will remove the other vasanas. That's why essentially that contemplating on the reality, in the absolute reality, Paramatma is the Paramarthika Satyam, and that which is the essence of the whole universe itself. So contemplating on that will eliminate my vasanas down, and therefore pragnati sangarshanato visuddha. So prajna, the knowledge, by rubbing out with the constant Vedantic knowledge, one has to recognize, that means constantly contemplate on that. That's called Nidhidhyasana. Nidhidhyasana is not sitting just in and closing your eyes in a quiet place. That also can be done, but that's not the only way, because once I open my eyes, again I will see the whole world. So I cannot keep closing my eyes all the time, because I need to still transact with the world. So as long as I'm transacting the world, recognize that this is the world itself is not really real. Transact is as a play has to be done, and that also has to be taking care of the body, taking care of the world that is required. All that process is part of the Nidhidhyasana, has to be incorporated in your daily life. So constant contemplation. So mind has to be hooked up on that. That's called the sannyasa yoga. Sannyasa means giving up my attachment to the lower, and yoga is attaching myself to the higher. Without attaching, if I give up, I will fall down. Right? I have to hold on to something, then I can give up from the lower. So hold on to his feet and give up the lower. And that's the only way for evolution, because that holding on to the higher will reduce the vasanas of the lower, because he is a purification type, and therefore Paramatma is recognition that everything is nothing but Lord only. That recognition, or Atma only, that recognition makes the mind non-attached to the other things. So yatha yatha pratyagavasthitam manaha. So this is the sloka 277. Yatha yatha pratyagasthitam manaha tata tada munchati bahya vasanaha nissesha mokshe sativasananam nissesha mokshe sativasananam atmanubhuti pratibandha sunyaha atmanubhutihi pratibandha sunyaha. So yatha yatha pratyagavasthitam manaha, as to the extent to which the mind dwells itself in that. So the manaha, say pratyagavasti, pratyak avasthitam. This is inner self. The mind turned inwards. That means not unnecessarily involved in all other transactions. Even when I am looking outside, I have to see that I am pervading the entire universe also. That is yatha yatha. To the degree that the mind can abide myself in that, tata tada munchati bahya vasana. To that and to that extent, the attachments to the other things will go away. So I had to strongly attach to that to give up the lower one. So the problem is not giving up the lower one is the problem. I cannot give the lower one unless I get attached to the higher reality. So nissesha mokshe sati vasananam. So all the vasanas has to be completely eliminated, almost like ineffective, make them ineffective in order to atmanubhutihi pratibandha sutyam, in order to experience that beautiful Atma Anubhuti. That means recognition that I am the totality. I am the totality means Aham Brahmasmi. That means the happiness comes from me only. And that uninterrupted happiness is because I am Ananta Swarupam. Therefore, I don't need to look for anything for my happiness. I am Atmaniyeva Atmanatushtaha. As Krishna says, I am reveling in myself and myself, because the self that I revel is complete. It is therefore Aham Purnaha. I am full by myself, and therefore I do not depend on anything other than myself. In fact, it is apurnam. That's what Bhagavan the Ramana Maharshi says. It is apurnam, is overflowing happiness, and to the degree that even others who are nearby, they feel a sense of happiness by your very presence also. And that's why a lot of people used to hang around Gurudev. Whenever he's free, they go and sit around it, and they just talk around something else. So it's not a Vedanta class, but very sitting around will make you also happy, because it's overflowing happiness coming out, and you cannot but venture into that. He has to do some work, he gets up also, because otherwise people would not like to leave him all the time. So he himself has to get up from that place. Until then, people won't leave. So that's essentially satsangam. That is essentially involved in the totality itself. So therefore, yatha tada pratyagavasthitam manaha. As long as mind is completely dwelling on that, to that degree, the realization is and I had to offer everything at the altar in order for me to realize. And then next few slokas of the 9 slokas of the Vivekachudamani is talking about the adhyasa nirasam. So how to give up the superimposed, the values that are imposed, and that's what is bondage is, and that has to be understood. And these are the slokas that are being discussed in the next 9 slokas of the Vivekachudamani. With this we stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.